Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for dialing in and happy new year. It's our first team training call of 2018, and I am so excited about just the new year and what's coming with Isogenics, what's happening for all of our teams, all of our businesses. And you guys know from the bottom of my heart, like whenever I get a partner with Jani and Jess and we decide to do something together, we get fired up. And just to give you a tiny little background for those of you that are new maybe or kind of don't know how this happened. Jani Ehlo, who's on this call, she's Isogenics 96 millionaire. Jani and I, or Jess and I call her the millionaire maker or the millionaire mentor because she has helped so many people just live a freedom life and really taken this opportunity, developed them, led them, mentored them, and set so many people free. And we felt so privileged and honored to work so closely with her. But Jessica and I came to Isogenics both in Jani's organization, not financially linked, about 1 month apart from each other. And we not only have become just the best of friends. I mean, if something ever happened with this company, which we know it won't, we are going to, stay friends and friends forever and ever. But we got close because we were running mates. And, we had this healthy competition and accountability. And we just brought so many different strengths to our teams. And so when we didn't really even understand why a Facebook group would be private, why we wouldn't have everybody in that, like I was in hers and she was in mine, and we were doing calls together and contests together and trying to, win the ISO Derby and max out the leadership pools. And it was super fun. And I messaged them just around Christmas and was like, you guys, let's do this 20 and 30 together. We work really well together. Jess and I have learned so much of what we learned, even though we have different backgrounds through Jani. And so we're excited to partner together. We're excited to work together. We're excited to just launch 2018, using some of the new products Isogenics is going to have, January Jolt, and so many other goodness to just really, really propel you forward. And before I bring out our guest speaker, who I get to tell you a whole nother story about, I just want to share with you that both Jess and I, and of course Jani, we are never going to ask you to do anything that we're not doing. And we're all committed to bringing in 20 people. We're all committed to doing the daily campaigns that, we've kind of created for you. But that started today for me with, if I'm asking you all to watch Eric Worre's Recruit 20 in 30 days, I was like, man, I haven't watched this video in a really long time. And it was funny because it's in like 2013. I was like, whoa, that's when I started Isogenics. But I was watching it, and when he's saying, the 7-figure income earners, they've done this multiple times, and the 6-figure income earners did it once. And there are times I did it intentionally, and there's times that it happened a little bit more passively, where I was just in momentum. I wasn't necessarily trying to enroll 20 people, but looking back, and I think about when he's breaking down those numbers, where things were in 90 days, in the 12 months, in the 4 years, in the 5 years. And if you haven't watched the call, I'm not going to explain it to you because you all can watch it. And if you did, you're caught up to speed that I was like, wow, like it really, really resonated with me differently right now in between my 4th and 5th year with Isogenics than when I watched it the first time and just hoping that was going to come to fruition. So I'm going to introduce Cyndi Walter. For any of you that were at Celebration this year, 2017 in Vegas, she was one of the keynotes, trained on the comp plan, has an amazing, amazing story. But I had the privilege and honor of getting to know Cyndi pretty well in Mexico City earlier this year. We both were down for the Mexico celebration and were the 2 English-speaking trainers. So we got to be really good friends, and I really got to know her story a lot more. But she has just a huge heart of gold. She is an Isogenics millionaire. She's a 9-star platinum. She has created many executives, you guys, many leaders. She is, when I think about someone who is like the queen of leadership development, this girl goes to the end of the rope and back a gazillion times to develop her team. When she wants other people to be successful more than herself, I mean, this woman just glorifies that. You can see it in her team. And after building this friendship, she's like, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And I was pretty vulnerable about some things that were happening in my organization. And she said, we need to do an Eric Worre 20 and 30. And I was like, what? She's like, this is what you got to do. And I know that she has utilized it in her organization. I know that she's shown her team how to do this. And with January Jolt, we just thought that this would be the most absolute perfect time to really run with this campaign and run with this promotion. So Cyndi, I'm going to mute and kind of let you chat for a little bit. I know I gave you a heads up of a few things we'd love to really focus and kind of tackle tonight. But I think the best thing that we could just do is just hear your story. So many people don't know where you've come from, your years in the industry before Isogenics, and then we'll dive into how you've utilized with yourself and your team, the 20 and 30 campaign.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you. And thank you for asking me to be on the call. And I love seeing all your faces. And Jessica, I love the fact that you guys partner together. It's the epitome of one team and really helping each other, and pulling teams together and working together is just so exciting. And you learn so much from each other. So I applaud you guys for what you're doing, and the timing of the 20 and 30 with what incentive Isagenix has going on is absolutely crazy. And I just did my first 20 and 30 call with my team tonight. And I was so excited because when I introduced the 20 and 30 to my team, I talked about how serious it was and that it was a huge time commitment. And we did a preparation call where we talked about eliminating distractions and talking to our families and getting them to be on board. And I really talked it up, what a huge commitment it was. And I too said, we're not asking you to do anything we're not doing. We're going to be doing this too. So I'm not doing my normal coaching calls that I do during the month of January because I'm working on enrolling 20 people in the month of January as well. So I was thrilled. We maxed out our 100 lines, and I had recorded it for everyone else. And it was so exciting because of the combination of what Isagenix is offering and us working to enroll 20 people in 30 days. I mean, think about it, guys. If we only enroll 12 people in 30 days and they get value packs that are now valued at $100 PIB, doubling it to $200, oh my gosh, just 12 will, imagine how much money you're going to make. If you get 20, imagine that. Life-changing amounts of money in 1 month. So we're fired up about it. So perfect thing for me to share with you guys a little bit tonight. But my story is that I was in the home party plan industry for 20 years. I've been a stay-at-home mom. My oldest is 20, he'll be 23 now next month. And then I have 3 daughters, 21, 18, and 16. And I've been a stay-at-home mom forever. And I did home parties in people's homes to, one, get out of the house a little bit, because with 4 kids in 7 years, you can imagine I needed a little bit of a break and some sanity to be around other adults. And I love to be around other moms. Primarily what I did was more female. I didn't really work with men then. Now I have a lot of men on my team, but then I didn't. And I grew my first business. I like to say I got a nice discount on the products, and I decorated my home on a discount. I didn't really make any money. But my second business, I got to the top level after 4 years, and I stayed there for 6 more years and started to earn a nice income, started to really be able to contribute to our family, to our finances. When we needed something for the kids, I bought it. If I wanted to redecorate a room, I did it. I got to the point where I started funding my kids' college funds. 4 kids going to college was quite overwhelming for my husband. So I was able to start contributing to that. We did a kitchen remodel. I didn't have to get a loan. It was a huge, massive project. I didn't have a kitchen for 2 months, and I paid for it with cash. So I got to the point where I was successful. But I still never came close to a 6-figure income, even being at the top level of that company for 6 years. Didn't even come close. $67,000 was my highest that I ever earned, which for a stay-at-home mom, I was so grateful for. Thanked God daily for that. But I knew there was something more. So I wish I could say someone found me and told me about Isagenix, but I researched, found Isagenix. I researched all the health and wellness companies, and you know why I chose this company, and it was the best decision I ever made. I have made such amazing friends. Like Lauren and I actually text message each other. She just sent me some exercise videos, like we are buddies, and I'm hoping we're going to be flying to each other's states to do meetings too. So so the friendships are priceless, but what it's been able to do for our family is absolutely amazing. And I was setting my 2018 goals, and at the top of my list is creating more 6-figure income earners. We had, I think, 8 last year, and I want to create at least 15 this year. And leader building is really, really my passion. I love getting clients healthy. I love that, but I love creating leaders, and I love people that are committed to be in a group like this. So that's pretty much the story, Lauren. You can tell me where you want me to go next. Oh, you're muted.
I know I clicked it twice in a row. Anyways, that's awesome. And I love that we're just going to dive right into the heart of this. So I think like when I was sharing you what was kind of happening and things that I saw, in the organization, it was like a no-brainer that we had to do, a 20 and 30 that I would love for you, in really no specific order, and I can kind of trigger you, you don't want to just go off the cusp for different parts, but what what you've done to really launch this in your organization, what you've seen as a result of it with not just you, but then also your teams, but more than just deciding and kind of this preparing, as you know, Eric talks about getting ready for the first 10 days, but what did that look like on a day-to-day basis, a week-to-week basis? You know, by the end of the month, how did you guys hold each other accountable? Were there contests involved? I mean, I know you just said you yourself are going to clear out your coaching calls so that you can focus more on recruiting, but just really break this down, because I think people get excited, but they go, how did you do that? And learning from someone who's done it and done it more than once is awesome.
Okay, so this is my first time officially doing a 20 and 30. So I kind of, like you, did it by accident. In the beginning, I looked back to see if I had ever enrolled 20 people in 1 month, and I never have. The most I did when I was first getting started, and I was not allowed to talk to people from my last business. So just know that the people I was enrolling, if it was from my past business, they had to come to me. I wasn't allowed to talk to my team. Nothing. So I hardly had any of my team join me in the beginning, but I got on the phone and I talked to everyone. And I did launch parties before they were called launch parties. In my last business, we did home parties. So I just did the same thing. We called them business blast off parties. So I just started doing them, not even really, we didn't even have that in place quite yet. And I was doing them. So I did it. I had enrolled a couple times 15, and I did 17 was the most I ever did. So this is our official first 20 and 30, but I'll tell you what we've been doing to prepare. Number one, we have been working on our list. So we did a big preparation call where we explained to everyone what it entailed. And it was, having those conversations with your family, making sure everyone knew that this was going to be a big time commitment for you, a focused time commitment for 30 days. And then if you have children and family that are going to have to be helping you out to give you that leeway to have some free time, make sure there's a reward system in place for them at the end, so that when you do achieve your goals, that you can celebrate with your family at the end. So we talked about that. We talked about adding to that list every day. So even if you guys are already prepared and this is week 1 and you're already trying to set appointments, you need to be continuing to add to the list all month long. So for me, I've been doing this for 5.5 years now. I had to do some serious warming up of my list, because I've been text messaging and Facebook messaging the same people for 5.5 years. So I had to get some new people to talk to too. So I went through my friends list on Facebook. You can print that off. I looked for everyone that wasn't doing Isagenix already. I went through my Christmas card list. I still send Christmas cards. Went through my list to make sure everybody was on my list. And I couldn't believe I actually found 100 people in my contacts that I hadn't talked to already. I thought everybody knew I did Isagenix. And I found 100 new people that I could add to my list just going through my iPhone, through my contacts. So then it was also, I am trying to get out and meet new people each week during this challenge, because I know for me, some of you may be new, and talking to people, you might have so many new leads, but if you've been around a while, you need to really freshen up that list so you have new people. The thing that gets me most fired up about this is I love how Eric talks about bringing in the new class of 2018. And, if you've been around at all, it is so difficult to drag people through this. And it's not fun. It's not fun for you. It's not income producing to drag people. You really want to be focusing on new people that are excited. That doesn't mean I don't mentor and help people. I'm not doing my coaching calls for 4 weeks. That doesn't mean if someone didn't need me, I wouldn't be available for them at all. But I didn't want my weeks filled with scheduled calls when I'm trying to prospect and enroll 20 people myself. So that's why I kind of took the break there. But we did a lot of planning, preparing, getting that list. The other thing we did was a lot of people will ask me for scripts. And I am not a scripted person. I'm a very one-on-one personal person. I feel like this is all about relationships. So when I'm talking to, Lauren, I'm going to talk to her a little bit differently than I'm going to talk to Jessica, because I know them differently. They have different goals, different, visions. So I'm going to talk to them differently. But we did give scripting, because we had a lot of people that are new and aren't as comfortable sharing their story. So we shared scripts that Eric Worre uses. We shared scripts that PK Smith's used. I shared what I was sending out in my private messages just so that they had some things to look at so that they could build their own. But what I told people when they're messaging people is to make it personal. If you don't know this, I found out the hard way. When you are copying and pasting messages in Facebook, they'll only allow you so many, and then they'll stop you from doing it. So I got about 70 messages out that were copy and paste, and then I couldn't send them anymore. So finally I realized, okay, you've got to really change them up and make them personal. So I definitely recommend, as you're messaging people, that you do make them more personal. Put the person's name in there. Spend a few more minutes making each message personal. Don't just copy paste, copy paste. I tried to make my message sound personal without doing that to save time, but it wasn't as effective. Another great tip that I actually got tonight, we watched the 4 o'clock Zoom meeting, 4 o'clock Eastern time Zoom meeting today in my home, and I invited my leaders to come, and then we did a business training afterwards. And one of the girls there is a millennial. She's a little younger than me, had her baby with her, and she was sharing, and you guys may all know this, so tune me out if you already know this, but she was sharing that she is doing her messaging with voice text through Face Messenger, and she shared that she recorded one, and it was a personal message, and then she shared it to multiple people, and we were all like, what? And they don't know you're sending it to multiple people? Here I private message every individual one, every time a new shake comes out, every time. So she shared a tip with us on how you could record your voice message. They can hear your excitement, which is so much more personal than the way I did it, copy paste, and then she could send it to multiple people and they didn't know. So that was a tip that I learned tonight. I'm always a student as well, and I wanted to share that with you in case some of you didn't know that. So that's what we've been doing. We've been adding to our list, teaching people how to make connections to try to set up appointments. So Eric talks about just sending simple text saying coffee, ? And I'm not comfortable. Anyone that knows me knows I have too many words to just say coffee, ? I would say something more like, hey, Lauren, we haven't connected in so long. I'd love to set up a time to meet with you for coffee next week. Are you free? I would have to add a little more than just coffee ? That's just my personality. If you can do just coffee ? Good for you. Or lunch. The thing with making appointments is you don't want them to be 5-hour lunches, because that's one person you're talking to over the course of 5 hours. So setting up quick meetings at coffee shops is a good idea, or setting up phone appointments. So I have my team. We all have calendars. Some do everything online. Some of us have old-fashioned Franklin planners that we like to use to see it all because we're more visual. Whatever system you're using to schedule, just try to keep your appointment times short so you can get more conversations in, because this is a numbers game. And for you to have tremendous success and for you to be able to enroll 20 people, you are going to have a lot of conversations. And to have 100 conversations or more, you're going to need to make a ton of connections and messages and calls and try to get appointments set up so that you can have these conversations. And if nothing else, when you are done with your 30 days, you're going to be an expert at sharing your story. And that's what we want for you. We want you to be able to share that story so that you never need to look at a script again, that it comes from the heart, that you're comfortable with it. You can talk to anyone, anywhere, and figure out how to get Isogenics into the conversation. So that's what we've been doing, planning and preparing, sending out the invitations, filling our calendar with appointments. Now that the new packs are out, people already started enrolling tonight, so we're super excited. A few enrollments have already gone through, and our plan is, everyone working for 20 and 30.
I love it. You guys, and if you're not as familiar with the text message blitz, blitz day kind of stuff that Cyndi's talking about, if you go into either mine or Jani's or Jessica's team pages and type in text blitz or blitz day or something, you'll find the training actually where Kathy Cooper's talking about this, but it comes from Eric Worre. But there's a lot of ways to do this, but you want to just fill your calendar. And if you're looking at someone being like, wow, I haven't talked to Denise in like 3 years, it'd be very weird if I just go coffee, One of the things that I learned when I was at GoPro was to be like, oh my gosh, I was looking for XYZ in my phone and I came across your name. I would love to catch up. When do you have a few minutes to chat, right? Being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how long it's been since I talked to you. And you can literally just say, I came across your name. And it's true, because if you're going through your phone and you're like, A's to Z, you're going to come across someone's name. And just kind of, I'm going to mute that. Hey, hold on 1 second.
Hold it. Get a drink.
I don't know what happened, but that's all right. Got that totally fixed. Maybe not.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I was like, I'm trying to mute it, but it said it's not muting. Okay, anyways, so you guys, it's just, those are great tips. So, Cyndi, I would love for you, if you could talk about 2 things before we let you hop off. Number one, what growth and momentum you've seen in your organization, and not necessarily just when you were in momentum and bringing in a lot of people, but what your team was. And when Eric talks about that, like if you enroll 20 people over 20 months, how that impact is so not the same as when you're getting this airplane off the runway, and you're really trying to get into momentum, and how that like people just coming in the tree from all of you, what that looked like and what that's paid off, to kind of be. And then also right now, either what you've done in the past or what your team is doing to really hold each other accountable. I think January 1, January 2, January 3, it's like, I'm fired up. This is my year. This is what I'm going to do. It's no different than when people start the gym. But 2 weeks into it right now, we know 50% of these people are going to be like, it's not happening for me. I'm too busy. Like, kids are sick. No one's calling me back. People are bailing on my appointments, or whatever noise creeps up. When you declare something, resistance always shows up. Like, what are you all really doing to hold each other accountable that they complete what they set out to do?
Yeah, great questions. Well, number one, you really have to realize that, like Rod Hairston talks about in Healthy Mind and Body, deception will hit you during these 30 days. It will. You're going to get a no. My next door neighbor and dear friend who's doing the training with me for my whole team, she sent her messages out. We're trying to stay a step ahead of what we're training. So we sent our messages out prior to teaching it. And one of the first people that replied to her sent her a nasty gram. And it was, take me off your mailing list. I can't believe you're wishing me a happy new year and asking me to buy products. She never said anything about buying products. It was just a nasty gram. This lady was having a bad day, clearly, and she took it out on Val. And Val called me and she read it to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if that would have happened to Val 5 years ago, it would have set her, she would have lost a day, like Eric Worre talks about losing a day. She would have lost a week over that. It would have crushed her. So I'm hoping no one responds to any of you that harshly. That was harsh, and I've never had one that bad. I've had some say, take me off your mailing list. I had a really goofy one, my last batch, something like, I don't even know who you are. And I'm like, yes, you clearly do. But anyway, I know that these things will happen because you're in a business where, you're probably so happy and excited, and you're wanting to help people, and your energy level is way up here, and you're going to be messaging people that find you annoying because you're so happy and healthy, and they're in a pit and they're feeling awful about themselves. So don't be upset and don't take it personally if you get someone to reply that's not so excited to hear from you, or if you get people not to answer you back. That happens a lot to me. As friendly and as sweet as my messages are, I have a lot of people not reply. I don't get hung up on that. I just work on the next person, because as much as I'm telling you this to prepare you, also know there are people that are praying for a solution right now. They just got through the holidays. They put on more weight than they have. They were so stressed out getting ready for the holidays. They didn't enjoy them. They need your help. So you want to reach out to people, and you really want to find those people that are looking for you and looking for a solution. So be inspired by that, and don't be discouraged if you get a no or a no response. So what I've seen happen with growth and momentum, it's crazy. When you commit to something like this, and you stay committed, your business will change. And that would be the best tip I could give every single one of you. How many do we have on the line? There's 68 of you on this call. 68 of you should be on this call when this ends, because if you can stay committed, it's 30 days. You can do anything for 30 days, anything. You guys know this. When you coach your clients, you want them to do a whole 30-day system, don't you? You don't want them quitting on day 15. So you guys committed to this. You have tremendous leaders who are giving of their time to train you, support you through this. So stay committed, stay the course, be able to ride it out. You're going to have some highs during this 30 days, but you're going to have some lows too. So be ready for them, and get your mindset in the right place. If you get a no, or you get a not so nice remark, or someone you really were hoping would hear back and they didn't respond back to you, then get up, do a power move, put on some great dance music, get yourself yourself in the right mindset before you make your next call. Do whatever you need to do. Go out and take a walk. Go do something. Get yourself in the right mindset before you get back on that phone, but get back on. Don't lose a day over it. Don't lose an hour. When you've got only 30 days to do this, you don't want to get hung up losing time and getting discouraged at all. Keep the energy high and hold each other accountable. Find a group of friends within this group that you guys can message each other and say, how many people did you contact today? How many phone calls did you have? How many times did you share your story today? If you can be accountable to a group, I do this with everything in my life, guys. I do not like to exercise alone. When I go to anything, yoga, I try to call a few friends and see if someone will meet me and take a class with me. I don't like to run alone. I always want to have accountability. And it says the same thing like this. I have one girlfriend. We talk every single day, sometimes 2 or 3 times, quick check-ins. We both have kids. We have crazy busy lives, so we don't talk long, but we always connect every single day to keep each other on course. If one of us is having a bad day, the other one helps each other with getting our mindset back in the right place so we can get back into business. So find that accountability, hold each other accountable, and take responsibility for where you are in your business, where you want to be at the end of the 30 days, and just know that you're capable of doing this. If you work really, really hard, what's the worst thing that can happen? You don't enroll 20, but maybe you enroll 15. Maybe you enroll 12 new people and you get the $1,000 from Isogenics. You've enrolled 12 people on value packs. You've made $2,200 extra dollars, $3,200 extra dollars. I mean, that's not so bad. So shoot for it. Absolutely shoot for it. Do everything in your power to get it. But know that your business will be further along at the end of 30 days than it is right now. And you're bringing in the new class of 2018.
I love it. It's so good. It's so good. And that whole part of the accountability. And I know Jessica's going to chime in here in a second. That is number one, what got us through our first 12 months. I mean, we still support each other and push each other and, talk through the ice and meltdowns and the deception and everything. But I mean, Jani used to have Jessica and I dial in every single morning to Susan Sly's call. And I remember driving to work and I was about to have all these patients, but I sat in, commuting traffic, and Jessica was on her way to the airport or she was on the subway somewhere. And Jani would be texting us, dial in, she would send us the number in the pin, hop on right now. And Jessica and I had all this anxiety, oh my gosh, we got to get on this call again. But we learned the basics through those calls. I mean, we learned the basics of this and it really propelled us forward. And we would be texting each other takeaways about it, or there would be something that we learned. We're oh my gosh, that was the perfect timing. So if you guys don't have an accountability partner, I mean, look who's in this page. Look, someone upline, downline, crossline, whatever. I mean, literally partner with them and say, hey, for the next 30 days, can you be my buddy? Can you cheer me on? Can you push me out of my comfort zone? Can you hold me accountable? And that's literally Jess and I will talk about this over and over and over. That's what happened. I mean, I remember calling Jessica sometimes and I said I was going to enroll 2 people and I didn't have double pibs. And she's like, okay, you got to go to Whole Foods. You got to call a Lyft. It's only Sunday morning. You got 12 hours. And it wasn't oh, next week will be better. That just wasn't an option. And so Cyndi, we're so grateful for you. I want to respect your time, and I know it's even later on the East Coast. So if you want to go to bed or, get back to handling all of your own business and everything, you are welcome, and everybody loves you and will thank you. If you want to stay on, you're also more than welcome to as well, while Jess and Jani kind of do some of the training. So I'm not kicking you off. It's totally up to you. But you guys, before Jessica hops out, I just want to unmute, and will you guys all just say thank you to Cyndi and send her some love?
Thank you.
Thank
Cyndi.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Cyndi.
You're awesome.
So grateful. All right, Jess, I'm going to let you take it away.
Okay, awesome. Well, I just shared with my own group, and I'm going to start this off by telling you guys this, because I think people look at us and they think, my gosh, they think it must be so easy, right? They think that it must be smooth sailing, that once you hit a certain momentum that it's all easy. And I will tell you guys that the last 2 days, I have gotten more no's than I believe that I've cumulatively had in my entire Isogenics career. All kinds of no's, nice no's, rude no's, no's from people that I haven't talked to in a really long time, no's from people that haven't seen messages. I've sent them 10. They've never responded to a single one until now, and it's a flat no. So I just want to tell you guys that there is a posture to this. And it takes practice, but you can fake it until you make it. And I was encouraging one of the top leaders on our team today. If you don't feel it, you can fake it. So I will tell you this. When you can look at it now and go, I'm working the ratios. Math is absolute. There is nothing disputable about math. So if I know that 10% of the people I talk to are going to say yes, guess what? All these no's are just front loaded. This is my 10%, my 90% saying no up front. The 10%'s coming, right? And so I just want to tell you that it is truly posture, and it's how you respond to the no's that I promise will set you up for the yeses. So like Joyce is a woman that I met at the gym, and I was going to post what she sent me in Builders, and I'll respect her privacy. But what Joyce said was a hard no. But I could be annoyed. Like, Joyce, I see you killing it for the last year and a half at the gym. You look exactly the same. And I've never seen a woman look more exhausted than you, girlfriend. And that's a fact. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I want to say that. Joyce, I could freaking help you, girl. Change, baby. Stop. But here's the thing. Do you know what I respond with? Absolute grace. I get it, Joyce. It's not for everyone. I promise you, there's no difference in my friendship with you. I don't care if you do it or not. I believe in it truly. And she said to me something about, thank you for, I love your enthusiasm. I said, thank you for recognizing it as enthusiasm. It's based on belief. I've watched it change so many people, but if it's not for you, totally cool. Totally cool. And then I asked her if she wanted to meet me for Orange Theory. That's awesome, right? That's it. So that's the first thing I just wanted you guys to know, is that Lauren and I get more no's probably than anybody else, because I know her. I know her heart. I talk to her all the time. I talk to her at all hours of the night and day. I know she talks to more people than almost anyone in this company. So it stands to reason, if we're working the ratios, people that talk to a lot of people get a lot of no's. Be a person that gets happy about no's, because if you're working the ratios, it means the yeses are coming. So that's number one. Number two is what I want to focus us in on: challenges. So Cassidy Mattiolo, my assistant, is like a genius with motivation. And her and I have been working with Lauren and with Jani on challenges for this group. You guys committed to do this, so get uncomfortable with us. Like Cyndi was saying, get your family and friends and whoever needs to know, I'm going to push strong. Get them on board. Let them know. Heads up. It's coming. 30 days. Let me grow. Let me see what I can do. Give me 30 days. So you need to do that. But what I want to tell you in the moment is, Lauren and Denise Wiggins and I are all in this mastermind group with some top leaders, top female leaders in this company. And I'm going to tell you that I want to challenge you guys to do two things. And you can say you're all in, and then guess what? Here's what I know about ratios. A lot of you won't do this. A lot of you won't follow through. Next week on the call, you won't be here. And that's you guys. Here's the thing. You're going to get grace from us. It's okay. It may not be your time. This may not be for you. Some people don't have the stamina for 30 days. Not everyone can do this. It's a small percentage of people that have the grit to get it done. But I want to set you up for success, because you might be someone that's right on the line. Life's freaking hard, right? A girl called me today to tell me how hard her life is. Meanwhile, I'm like, I know your life is hard, but guess what? Every person on this call, all 68 people on this call, have got things, really good excuses. And I bet there's a lot of people on this call that have better excuses than you. Way better excuses than me. I know that's true. And I honor those people. They showed up. You got better excuses than me not to be on this call. So let's talk about what's going to keep us in the game and give us the best chance of success. There's two things. One is that I want you to create some kind of a vision board. Some kind of a vision board. So I will tell you that I wrote out my goals before this call. On our mastermind page, there's somebody who drives me so much, and she wrote out her goals, and she literally committed them to me personally and to our group. So I don't know if you guys can see it because we got a screen share. Maybe I can take it back. I don't know if I can.
Hey, Christina, whoever you are, if you can stop sharing your screen. I can't even do it as the admin.
Oh.
Like, I had it in speaker view. Does anyone know who that is? Can you guys text her?
If you double click on Jess's picture, it'll make it full screen.
There we go.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, whoever said that.
Okay, so I wrote out my goals This isn't a vision board, but it's a darn good start because it's going to tell me what I want to do. I want to be debt free. I want to be maxed out. I want to qualify for top achievers. I want to be the best mom I can be. I want abundance to follow me everywhere. I want to contribute more than I've ever contributed in my life. I want to create more 6 and 7 figure earners on our team than we've ever even conceived of. These are things that I'm writing down, but guess what? They can easily transfer into a visual. My kids are awesome because they've helped me create vision boards. And I got to tell you guys, when you do it, it will blow your mind. Quinn will keep them in my gym. And sometimes when I'm down riding my Peloton bike, the kids will come down and she goes through and looks at my vision boards, all the ones I've done through Isogenics. And she'll be like, Mom, this happened, this happened, this happened. We got this, we got that. We did that, Mom. That was something you said you wanted to do and it seemed like a dream. Do a vision board. On that vision board, if I were you, I would print out a check from the universe. There's checks you can get from Isogenics and you will literally it's signed by Jim and Kathy Coover. You can Google it. Infinity check is another way to Google it. And you can print out a check, print it out and stick it on your vision board. 2018, how much do you want your 1099 from Isogenics to say? Write the check right now. Stick it on a vision board. This does not have to take a long time. You can do it right after this call. So that's vision board is number 1. Number 2, in our group, if you're serious and only then, what I want you to do is I want you to go on YouTube and I want you to find Eric Worre interviewing a 7-figure earner. There are tons of them. Then I want you to post in our group your top 5 takeaways. And here's the catch, guys. If you're serious, you got to be on this because you can't repeat if someone else did it. There's tons of them. We won't repeat. I promise you. But you have to be conscious and looking at what other people are posting. And this is an urgency to get it done. And I will tell you what, it's going to really tear at your heart because some of these people that he interviews, they are success stories like I want to be. I want to be able to be interviewed by Eric Worre someday. So those are 2 takeaway challenges. They shouldn't be difficult. Don't make this more than it is. Vision board, get it out. Literally, I could do it from the papers on my desk. I mean, there's papers on my desk that I could do it from Isogenics that I could literally slap something together right now on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Don't make it more than it is, but put it and make it something you can post and you can look at. Because vision boards work. You can dispute it all day long while people are creating vision boards and making it happen. And then the second thing is go to YouTube, Eric Worre interviewing a 7-figure earner, and share with the group top 5 takeaways from that call. I'm fired up to do this with you guys. Lauren and I are doing it right beside you. Jani does this like every month. She goes crazy always. But this class of 2018, who will you bless? It gets me excited.
So good. So good, you guys. When you see some of the daily stuff, it's not going to be hard. It's really not going to be hard. But literally, and just to put this into perspective, when we were talking about, I said, Jess, I was like, we're in like the busiest time. We tell them all the time in the world, like we want them to make a vision board. Like we probably should have done this 2 weeks ago, right? In terms of the time that takes or whatnot, and all the time you could be connecting and, recruiting. But here's the thing, exactly what she said. Maybe in March, you make a fancy one and it's laminated and it's organized and it's cutted and it's glittered and great, right? Right now, for the next 30 days, what you focus on, you find. So much of what you're doing is happening in your subconscious mind. You have to see it. And she said, you know what, just get the sticky notes up. Like it can be that simple of writing out, I enrolled 20 people by January 31st with ease, writing out what is 20 times 100, on the double pib, whatever that might be. What's that amount? Like I have earned with ease, get those sticky notes out. Like, what are you going to do with that? Maybe there's a credit card that's haunting you at night, like print off the credit card and just write paid in full with ease. Like, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be gorgeous. No one wants you to go to art class. We just want you to see something, breathe something, smell something, taste something, talk about it with someone that you're getting so excited that when you want to watch TV or you don't want to call 3 people and you don't want to stay up that extra hour, you look at it and you go, you know what? For 30 days, I have grit and I have perseverance. So before I have the privilege and honor of interviewing Jani a little bit where she can kind of share what's happened in her organization, with the 10 years she's been with Isogenics, I wanted to talk to you just a teeny bit about the importance of, I want to make sure I have this right. I'm looking at my notes. Connecting, right, Jess? Is that what I was doing? I'm like so focused on you guys. No, in massive action. I was like, I knew there was something. And I posted this in my page, you guys, but I'm going to be real raw and real transparent. Just like Cyndi said, when you've been doing this for a while, you kind of have to recreate your list. And there are people everywhere. There are people everywhere. But when I go, okay, I've messaged a lot of people on my Facebook, or I've gone A through Z in my phone before, you know, my friends and family know what I'm doing. There's option A, which is like, well, I guess I'm out of people, right? Which is never going to happen. Or I tell myself things like, okay, well, there's only like 600 some thousand people in isogenics, right? There's a few million people in Colorado. Like, I don't think I'm out of people. I just have to get to work. And so one of the things that I committed to in 2018 was more networking groups. I built my nutrition practice, having tables at the farmers markets, going to after hours meetups, you know, going to networking groups, collecting people's stories. And sometimes, you guys, it works out great because there is someone looking for you, but there are other times you're going to learn value from somebody else. You get a takeaway, right? But the more relationships you're building. So this is no exaggeration. You guys, no exaggeration. 100%. I want you guys to see this. This is like from today. Like, I don't know if you can see all this, all these flyers, all these business cards. I can't even hold them all, right? From one thing I went to 2 hours. Sorry, now I dropped my number. 2 hours, literally probably 200 businesses and names and business cards on here. The meetup had about 20 people. I made sure I talked to every single one of them, got information, got their Facebook, whatever it was, like introduced myself. Then I saw on the back wall, because it's kind of like a virtual office type building is where it was. So a lot of entrepreneurials. The back wall had everybody's business card or flyers if they chose to, and I grabbed every single one of them, right? Without trying to go, oh, but they want this. Is that the type of company? What do they do? What is their, you know, I grabbed every single one of them, you know, and I'm going to contact every single one of them. I send out a newsletter. I'm going to add all of them into my contact list. You know, I mean, I do this when I go to coffee shops. I don't just grab my latte and leave. I always look. They always have people's business cards in the back. I grab every single one of them. I start friending people. You know, the amount of people that have reached out a year or two later after doing it, and they've seen that I'm consistent. Like Jessica said on the January Jolt call, that your light is on in your store. Like, I've never stopped posting. I've never stopped celebrating people that for whatever reason they go, hey, I don't know how I know you. You friended me like 2 years ago, but whatever you're doing, I'm ready. You know, but it's that brand and just always adding people to the pipeline. So whether you're meeting people at networking groups, you're meeting people online. You know, Jessica gave great scripts on the January Jolt call. We're not going to repeat them. That call's available for everybody. If you're doing things online, going out into the public, you know, talking to waiters and waitresses and Lyft drivers and Uber drivers and people at the gym. But it does require you getting out of your comfort zone. It's always a little bit awkward sometimes, but it just takes one yes. It just takes one person to be so excited that you talk to them to kind of boost your confidence up. And then massive action. I mean, Eric breaks down those numbers like nobody's business. And I think about in December of 2013, what really propelled Jessica and I to where we are today. And that was just under 40 enrollments each in 1 month. And when he breaks down those numbers, because I actually tried to double it, because he said 20. So as he was doing it, I was like, okay, we had 40. And I wrote this down just in the time frame, right? Everything of those numbers doubled. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's our businesses. And I could tell you right now who are the two people that are bringing in the 90% of my income almost 5 years later, right? 4 years later from that. Just like he said, when we didn't know what we were doing then, we since have gone to GoPro. We've watched this, that we've decided to do that. But when I think about when that was happening, you guys, Jessica was working, I mean, more than full time, plus she was a mom of 3. You know, I was working way beyond full time. We would message people 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. There was that burning desire. When she's saying that we get more no's, I can tell you with full 100% honesty today, I've had over 25 conversations of my own with Isogenics, text message or private message or in person today. I have 1 enrollment and 1 maybe. That's the exact numbers. Over 20 conversations in various ways, 1 enrollment, 1 maybe, right? Like it doesn't mean that, I mean, sure that like sometimes you get better, but it is that law of averages, the law of the numbers, the law of ratios, whatever you want to do, that if you have that burning desire, you've just got to be that much more committed and put in that much amount of work. You know, you're not going to do this forever. Just like Eric said, once that plane is up, you can coast again, you can chill. You're just building momentum that clear your calendar, talk to more people, schedule more appointments, do text splits, more follow-ups, less TV. Like there's a lot of people that want to hang out with me all the time. And I'm literally telling people this is the busiest time of my business. Like the reason I can hang out with you all summer, I can hang out with you all December. is because I do things like this. Like, guess what I'm not doing for the next 30 days? No happy hours. I'm not drinking. I'm not working out an hour a day, not 2 hours a day. You just get really, really clear on what's important in managing your time. So Jani, who I know has dialed in with us, you guys, what a treat and what an honor to be able to learn from, Woman of the Year of Isogenics. She's a millionaire. She's created so many 7-figure income earners. And one of the reasons that Jani's so successful is she might be one of the most altruistic people I've ever met in my entire life. I mean, when you see what she's done and the leader she's created and the income she has, I mean, there is not any single reason that she has to get on here except that she wants to. She chooses to. She sees what's, capable for so many people, and it's always a treat when we can learn from her. So, Jani, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yay.
Happy New Year. So I know
Thank
in the
you.
last kind of 5 to 10 minutes of the call, the one thing that, Jess and I were really, really hoping that you could share is just not only in your own organization, like when you and Betsy Frame were really running together, or maybe you saw Danielle and Kayla Kraft and Kelly, running together. You saw Laura Stevens run together. You've seen Tanya and Trudy, but just kind of what does it look like when there's momentum in an organization? How you've seen this over and over, and not only the results, but what would be tips that you have for us? What are things that you've just seen successful in the 10 years you've been with Isogenics that we can all kind of take away and we can all implement right now?
Yes. Oh, gosh, you guys, amazing calls. So many great tips. And Lauren and Jessica and Cyndi, just they know what they're doing. They're committed. They've all just really jumped in head first. And so you guys, to have all of these people with all of this amazing energy, because I believe that when you gather together and you have energy, it is contagious, and energy begets energy. So you want to be able to definitely be around other people who bring you up, who bring that vibrational energy up, who are just as excited about you. And I think one of the things that was so pivotal in my business was is an accountability partner. And Lauren, you talk so much about you and Jessica just being that accountability partner. And I think that when you have someone who is as committed as you are, someone that you can bounce things off of, you can jump on a call together and then you can kind of bounce ideas off. Because I know that when Betsy Frame and I started running together, when I would see her in action, it would be like, okay, I'm gonna have to move faster, because I would be I was not gonna let her get ahead of me and really and just do more than I was doing. And I remember being on Susan Sly's call and hearing so many people that I could just tell from the way that they were talking, they were, way behind me, but they were doing so much more. So I feel like when you are, in this build, the more, for one thing, you guys, everybody needs to be plugged into something amazing every single day. So you're either listening to something with Tony Robbins, you're listening to something with GoPro, something amazing is going into your brain and firing you up, giving you ideas, helping you push past any kind of obstacles and barriers, and then something that's just really going to make you steely mentally. Because I look at the girls in my organization that have really done amazing things and have risen to great heights. One of the things that they have is they don't care what other people say, what other people think. They're steely mentally. So if you can get into that mindset place where nothing is going to hold you back. Because I remember getting to that place, there was a contest that Isogenics threw out when I was kind of young in my build. And I remember Joni Brewer talking to Herb Cepeda, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I've got somebody who's really rising." And he just kind of, shrugged her off and, yeah, we'll see. And I mean, that drove me. that literally drove me. And I remember going up into my office and sometimes staying up there for 8 to 10 hours. If I had benchmarks that Travis Garza kind of put out for me to hit, I was going to hit those benchmarks. I mean, come hell or high water, I was going to hit those benchmarks. And it was just that mental place where you have to go that you're going to hit this no matter what. So this morning when I woke up, one of the things that I wrote was I have sticky notes here in my house down in Arizona, and it says 5 enrollments. And you better watch out, because I'm going to hit 5 enrollments by the end of the week, because I'm going to stay on track for that. How many conversations will I have to have? Well, I've got a bunch of people to follow up with that I've already been sowing seeds with, and I'm going to be able to go back to them and say, hey, where are we at with this? And really have a great conversation with them. And I think that when people know where you're coming from, where your heart is, that's an energy that people can feel. And one of the things that I really worked hard at with Jessica and with Lauren was to completely take my success out of the picture and just focus in on who they were, what they were doing, what their dreams were, what their goals were. And one of my, dreams.
Hey, Jani, we lost you. I don't know if you muted yourself. I'm trying to unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you said one of my dreams was, and then we lost you.
Oh, sure. Yeah, one of my dreams was, with you, Lauren, was to be able to get you out of all of those different jobs where you were just spinning on this hamster wheel, working all of these jobs. And I just thought, I'm going to be a part of her story, and I'm going to help set this girl free. And with Jessica, the same with her kids. I just saw her on the beach with her kids at her beach house. And I just thought that drove me, that excited me. I was passionate about that. So I think if you go to that place where you can look at other people on your teams, that it cannot be so much about you. It has to be about other people and what they're excited about and passionate about. And I've noticed that when Kelly Dickerhoof and Laura Stevens, all of those girls, and you guys, it's really interesting, because I feel like when we first start out, there are definitely goals that we want to be able to hit ourselves. But then when we start to hit those a little bit, no one, you don't care about it anymore. I mean, it becomes so much bigger and so much more about what you can do, how you can serve and give and love and empower and uplift your team. And that's what drives me. That's what excites me, to be able to take new people who are brand new and are just starting out, or people maybe who were passionate about this and then they've fallen back, and who that you think, okay, I see this in them, and I'm going to be able to lift them up and be able to build belief into them. Because Lauren and Jessica, you guys know that, I worked really, really hard on your belief. And you would always call me, is this really going to work? Is this really going to, can I really do this? And I poured so much into these girls, just through passion. And so I noticed that with Kelly, with Laura, they all had an accountability partner. So the number one thing that I would tell you guys, other than putting sticky notes all over your house, and Lauren, you can tell that story, but other than putting the sticky notes out, really grab an accountability partner and somebody who's going to be tough with you. Because every single one of those girls had me, but they also had somebody else who was running right alongside them, that pushed them, that they thought, they looked at their situation and they saw them working harder, and they just thought, you know what, I can do double that. And so really it's going to be, when you have a sprint like this, and it's not going to last forever, but when you have a 30-day sprint like that, it's going to be so important for you guys to have an accountability partner, and then put your goals up every single week.
So good, Jani. I'm like literally texting Jess right now. I was like, man, she still fires me up. And I was like, I literally am like, I don't have a sticky note up for 5 enrollments. I'm asking the page, but I know what I'm doing as soon as I hang up the phone. So you guys, what a treat. And like Jess said, we know who's not going to probably be on the call next week or the next, couple weeks or whatever. But if we can pour belief into you, if we can, tell you that you have the it factor, everything that you need is inside of you. Literally pump yourself up. And sometimes we have to do our own pep talk, and sometimes you have to work on your own state first, but that's what we're here for. And Jessica's referenced this, we call it Women of Influence, thread that we're in. And we have shared so many vulnerable moments, you know, I mean, people that went from a 6-star to getting paid as a 2-star, or, you know, builder that's left the team, or the rejection that we feel, or the comparison that we have, you know, that I'm like, wow, I've enrolled more people and I was, you know, this, and now I've got passed by Tracy or Trudy or Tanya. I mean, we share that stuff because it keeps you in the game, you know, it keeps it real, it keeps it fun, it keeps it, you know, exciting, all of those things. But, oh, now
Hey,
I just
Lauren.
Yep.
Hey, will you talk a little bit about you putting up those sticky notes when you did that, and how that changed, and how what you know, what you think about, you bring about, and what you focus on, you find? Will you talk a little bit about that, and then also about how important it is to be doing the products? Because when you're excited about the products, when you're throwing those products in your body every single day, there's a shift that happens to you. So I tell people, you know, you need to be cleansing, you need to be diving in and having something exciting to talk about. When your business is a little bit flat, do a 9-day cleanse, and you've got something to talk about to everybody. You know, when you're fired up and excited, you can say, gosh, just dropped a size in the last 11 days. This stuff is crazy. And being able to talk about that.
Yeah, well, you just did that part like more eloquently than anyone. I'm not sure I'm going to cap that, but it's true. In that post about like how many products are you using, it gets true. And it's not always size, you guys. I mean, you're relatable when you're in the journey, but it's energy, it's skin, it's mood, it's mental clarity, it's, you know, how you're feeling. And people are looking at a lot more things. So don't feel like, oh, I'm in the process of my transformation, like I can't talk about it yet. You know, I mean, you're most relatable when you're going through the journey. But what I was saying about, you know, pumping yourself up and just believing in you, this is, you know, total transparency, you guys. But when I've scheduled and I have these meetups, the number one way deception showed up in my brain today is driving home from the gym was like, man, I don't want to go to that thing today. You know, I was like, I don't want to small talk. I don't want to get ready. I want to unpack my bag from being out of town. I've got, you know, this to do. I mean, I was literally coming up with all of the to-do list in my head of why I couldn't go. And then I checked myself and I said, okay, is any of that income producing, and is any of that going to help you meet new people? No, right? Like, got to toughen it up. You got to do it. I'm going to do laundry maybe on Saturday, but I got to go. And then I will tell you, I drove and I'm in front of Fluid Coffee, and about like 5 minutes before I'm supposed to be in there, I'm nervous. I'm like, man, I'm going to have to do an elevator pitch, and I haven't done this in a while. And, you know, like I'm literally, and I'm sitting in my car, and I text my boyfriend and I was like, God, like, I'm going to go do this thing. And he's like, babe, people love you. He was like, you love what you do. He's like, what are you being weird about? Right. And I swear to you, I like Tony Robbins move, and I'm doing like what Kathy Cooper talks about. I'm in my car by myself. I'm like, you're a badass. Isagenic's amazing. People need you. You're here for a reason. The right people are going to be here. Go, go, go. Okay. And I walk in, and the first person I talk to is like a top earner of Juice Plus. But she all went into all this leadership retreat she's doing, how she's mentoring her team. And I was like, and I like want to be taking notes, like not by chance, you know, and I'm growing and I'm learning like from her, and just the connections that had happened and the energy. And I was like, I can't wait to go tomorrow. It's the same company, but a different part of the town. I'm like, yes, I'm going back. Right. But sometimes it just takes that one connection, the one to make it fun, that then you want to reach out to 20 more people. By the time I came home with my list, I had all of their energy, right? I wanted to get on the phone. I wanted to text people. And what Jani's talking about is I was beyond skeptic, you guys, when it comes to this law of attraction idea, when it comes to training your subconscious mind, beyond skeptic. When I tell you that I was resentful, I was mad about it, it was a wasted time, it was busy work, like I was so stressed out, I didn't have time to do this. And I remember when she gave me that first blank check that Jessica talked about, and I was like, what do you want me to do with this? And she's like, how much do you want to make by the end of the year? And this was in November, right? We were at ICU, my very first one. The end of the year, I had like 6 weeks. And I was like, what? And she's like, fill it out. And like, I couldn't. Like the idea of what I wanted to do, or if it didn't happen, the fear of failing, I didn't write anything out. And I got home and I started going through my notebook and everything. And I was like, well, at this point, you have nothing to lose, right? Like you have nothing if you don't do it. If you write it, what if, you know, part of it came? So I wrote out this check, and this was the first bit that started to open up my mind into this. But the check amount came true with the leadership bonuses and stuff to fruition by like pennies, like literally by like pennies, when I looked at my income history to date and what was on that check. And I was like, what? And so that year after NYKO, this was January of 14, that was the first vision board that I wrote, you know, and that was, since Jess, you update it, things are coming true, you've got to update it, you've got to update it. But the night that Jani, what she's talking about is I was close to hitting Crystal Director, right? I had 4 consultants and a ton of pirates. And I was like, well, this person doesn't call me back, and XYZ. And this was the middle of the night. Jani's kind of a night owl. You guys don't know that, but she used to live in Spokane, Washington. So I was 1 hour later. Jessica was 2 hours, 3 hours later, right? She would have us up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, but she was messaging me. She's like, do you have your sticky notes up? And I was like, sticky notes? She's like, right now, write it up. I've got 6 consultants with ease, crystal director with ease. I'm like, Jani, I got to get up in like 2 hours for work. She's like, you'll be director in the morning. You got to get them up. You got to get them up, you know? And I was like, so I'm in the middle of the night, you know, looking for a sticky note, looking for a Sharpie in the bathroom, in my office, on my phone, and literally like within days, like it just happened like so fast. And it's just, I mean, it brings that energy. And the line I'll leave you with, and then Jessica, if you want to close us out, I heard over and over and over, like what you focus on, you find, right? If you focus on, you find it. What you focus on, you grow. And when I was at Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within earlier this year, what I heard that has stuck with me is what you focus on, you will find, or it will find you. And I love that, because any of you who's ever rank advanced, any of you who's ever really been pushing, you're like, oh, I'm going to enroll 5 people this week. Jani probably thinks she knows. She's talked to Gita. She's talked to Katie. She's talked to Sharon. She's talked to, you know, Jamie. She's talked to Brad, or whatever that may be, right? And those people are not going to be the 5. It'll be Denise, Chris, Frank, Shauna, and Julie, right? But she still gets the 5, because what you focus on, you find, or it'll find you. And you're just opening up those channels. You're opening up the pathways. And truly, truly, if I can encourage you guys to get clear on that, if it just works. It just works. So Jess, I know you're going to wrap us up and close it out. Jani, thank you so much. We love you.
Absolutely. And Lauren, I'd love to add 2 more things.
Please do.
First of all, I am statements are super, super powerful. So I was talking to Erica the other day, and she was talking about how she is in front of the yoga mirror and she's in yoga class. And she said the entire time, she said, I'm literally in meditation and I'm saying, I am strong. I am powerful. I'm an amazing leader. I present with power and precision and excitement, you know, and all of these beautiful, beautiful I am statements. And so, because what you speak out, you become. So you guys need to figure out 10 adjectives that would make you amazing at this, and 10 adjectives that you want to see yourself move towards and become, and then speak those out every single morning. Whenever you pass a mirror, I want you to speak out 2 or 3 I am statements. Every time you pass a mirror, anywhere in your house, anywhere you are, and then speak those out, look into your eyes and believe them, because God wants us to be so much bigger, so much more amazing. And he has this vision of what you can become as his child, and speak those beautiful things out, and then you will become those things. And then also, other than the I am statements, I want you guys to fish from 10 pools. We all have 10 circles of influence. So I want you to be able to pull those 10 circles of influence. Like, one might be the gym, one might be book club, one might be your kids at school, your high school friends, your college friends, your graduate school friends. And I want you to be able to grab those different 10 pools of influence. And then I want you to pull 10 people that you think would love Isogenics, that you think would like it for physical or financial reasons. And I want you to put 10 people in each of those pools that you think and put why they would like it. You know, money, or lose weight, or energy, or protein, you know, or, you know, guys that want to be able to perform better in the gym, and put that right next to them. And then I want you to attack the list, because Hillary Courtney talks about how the same people come to every yearly meeting. They bring the same 100-person list. They're still in the same place, because she said they don't attack the list. So I want you to attack your list. No holds barred. I want you to get excited about it. I want you to have absolute victory this morning, you know, this week, with being able to grab 5 enrollments this week. And I mean, we're going to have a prize for that. People who hit 5 enrollments, we're giving away some cash. So just to let you know, the people that are in massive action are going to get rewarded for it, because this is too exciting, too fun, and too fabulous to not be able to just throw out some money to you guys and just say, you are a rock star.
I love it. I love it. Jani, you're amazing. No one fires me up like Jani. Lauren, you're so right. She is fabulous. But you know what? You guys are fabulous. 62 people still on the call for East Coast people, it's almost 11 o'clock at night. I know some of you get up super early. You have better excuses of why you should have gotten off the call, but you've made it. You've already committed. You're already doing it. So let's go for it. Take this week, 5 enrollments, declare it, write it down, create some jacked up vision board. I don't care what it looks like. Watch an Eric Worre video, listen to it on your drive in, and share with us your 5 takeaways. And let's see what we can get out of what he's sharing with Genius. People that have already done it, that have gone first, do what they do. Guys, have such a great night. Thank you so much.
Love you guys. Yay!
Thank you guys.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Have a
Love
good
you
night.
Thanks, Jenny. Thanks, Jess. Thanks, all of you. Thanks, Cyndi.
Cindy.